Beloved hearts of love, it is I, known to the outer world as Mother Mary, who greets you this day through this messenger. I thank you for your presence with me this day, and I extend to each of you my own heart's flame love and the love of my Son, Jesus the Christ. Throughout the centuries, Jesus, myself, my mother, Grandmother Anna, and the disciples who have too gained their freedom in the Ascension. Throughout the centuries, each of us have offered healing to millions of people who have reached up to us, asking for that healing. And yet so much more can we do this day. Healing is possible for everyone. I would this day encourage you to be mindful. In the many demonstrations of healing that are recorded in the scriptures regarding my son's life, often Yeshua would say to those who experienced the hand of God through the life of my son Jesus, Jesus would say to them, "Now rise, go forth, and sin no more." Those were the words of that day. Sin, the word sin, is a fairly heavy-handed word with all sorts of connotations in different contexts to it. I prefer the word mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. It is all part of growing. My son Jesus could have equally have said to those who experienced healing, Jesus could have said, and it would have meant the same, "Now rise, go forth, and change your ways." In other words, and this is part of the cosmic law that governs how much healing that we can offer. For precious hearts, if the all-seeing eye of God knows that if you were to receive a healing from a higher source, from an angel, from an ascended being, from Mother Mary, from Jesus Christ, the all-seeing eye of God knows that for that healing to be received, for it to remain and be permanent, then one must be willing to analyze themselves and be willing to recognize that perhaps there was that conduct in their own lives that brought about the condition that required healing. And so for healing to be real, to be accepted, to be permanent, each one must be willing to change themselves, to realize that in their own history, whether it be through their thinking process, their beliefs, their emotional realities, their actions. There is always something from within oneself that creates conditions where healing is necessary. Healing is available to all of you. Yet the great cosmic law requires that once a healing is to be given, is given, for that healing to remain permanent, one must be willing to change their conduct, willing to ask themselves, what is it in the way I live life? What is it in the way that I approach life that brought about this condition where I had to turn to a force, a power, a being greater than my own evolution and ask for healing? I, Mary, simply ask that each of you, that you might receive the rightful healing that you so deserve, living in such a difficult world where it is almost impossible not to make mistakes. Indeed, call upon me, upon any of us, and we will offer the healing love to you. Yet be mindful for that healing to be received by you, for it to be permanent. Perhaps there is some conduct in your own life that created the problem in the first place. Some belief system, some emotion, emotions such as shame and guilt, can create so many problems in one's life, and those problems then require healing. So I ask you to consider healing, and more healing is available to each of you. Yet with that healing, heed my son's advice. Rise now and change your ways. For if you do not, having received the hand of God upon you, freeing you of some condition, if you continue the same conduct in your life, something worse may come upon you. Just a little reminder to all the roses of the Radiant Rose Academy and many who follow the teachings of the Academy through the YouTube channel. I greet you, and I greet you through the activity of resurrection. This is the path of Jesus Christ. It is a path of renunciation. It is a path where one discovers that hidden deep within their own inner consciousness is a hero, a magnificent being, an individualized God presence that is the true self of every person. And through study and awakening and meditation, one makes contact with their own inner God self. in the journey of self-realization, God-actualization, the human sense of self that is often fragmented and fractured begins to melt away, and one's own true self, the only begotten, begins to rise. Awakening into higher consciousness, sometimes referred to as Christ consciousness, unfolds. I am eternally grateful to Mother Akasha in offering the Tree of Life teachings in the Radiant Rose Academy. For in those years that my son left our home and journeyed under the great stewardship of the Lord Maitreya, and journeyed over to the great Himalayas, where in the Himalayan Mystery School, it is the Tree of Life teachings that Jesus studied. And by his studying, did he realize and then become his true God self, and demonstrated that in his life on earth. I congratulate each of you who are awakening to the truth of your existence, the truth of creation, and the truth of the universe itself. In the awakening process, it seems there is so much to discover, so much to be revealed. Yet as one has begun that process, as each of you have, it is not long before the greater wisdom of your own inner God self begins to express in your mind and open the way for even greater truths to be realized, to be demonstrated in your lives. Perhaps in my time with you today, we can approach the understanding of higher knowledge or wisdom as a deep comprehension of truth itself, truth explained. Today, I would like to remind you of the truth of much greater assistance that is available to each of you, and how once you discover the truth of infinite resources of life that are everywhere available to you, you might begin to accept these things, these higher powers, align with them, and open yourself to the many resources of creation that can help your life on earth. Beloved hearts, not everyone has embraced a spiritual path, yet I know full well that spiritual growth is the most natural activity behind the evolution of our universe. Spiritual growth allows each of us to continue to evolve and become more and more of what life intends for everyone. What does life in itself seek to offer everyone? Well, more light, more love, more joy and happiness, more wisdom and understanding, more abundance, limitless energy, power and health. And that's just the basics. Understanding the laws of energy, laws of mind and matter, laws of cause and effect, laws of forgiveness, laws of redemption, laws of attraction. As we become aware, as we spiritually grow, we soon come to realize every initiate, every adept comes to realize the only limitation, the only judgments that seem to be in our life are all imposed upon ourselves by ourself and by our beliefs. For there is nothing in the creation of the universe that seeks to impose judgment or limitation upon an individual. This is truth. Freeing yourselves of limiting beliefs, freeing yourselves of ancient religious beliefs in a punishing God, purging yourself of believing that God is a judgmental God. This kind of freeing of one's own limiting beliefs, purging oneself, is vital and necessary for unlimited spiritual growth. In truth, one does not have to appeal to a higher source, the Heavenly Father or the Heavenly Mother, or my own Son, Jesus Christ, for forgiveness. Yes, there is a law of forgiveness, a law of redemption, and they are there for each of you to offer those laws of forgiveness, those laws of redemption to yourself for the mistakes that you may have made in your life. Beloved hearts, the greatest natural law of our universe is the law of cause and effect. Therefore, if you do not care for the effects, the experiences in your lives, then we must acknowledge the cause of those things began with ourselves, with our approach to life, our attitudes, our wrong and limited thinking, and more. The law of forgiveness is not used by our Creator, the Heavenly Father, or the Heavenly Mother. It is to be used by each person, each one's responsibility to forgive themselves when mistakes are made, so that each one can keep evolving. So, precious hearts, let me share with you some of the precious, infinite resources of life that are available to assist your life in your world. For if you do not know of these things, and you do not consciously align with them and open to receive their blessings, then you do not benefit from the many infinite blessings that are placed everywhere in the universe. For example, let us think about the substance of which your physical bodies are formed. That substance is made up of the elements. The powers of nature and the forces of the elements not only pertain to Mother Nature of your planet, they pertain too to your bodies, which are made up of the elements. Today, there is such toxicity that is built up within the elements of people's physical bodies. Beyond the current viral health storm in the world that is affecting many people's health, is an already momentum of poor health, poisons, toxicity that has been building up in people's health for many years. Pollution, soils that have lost their nutrients, polluted water systems, pollution in the air people breathe, dangerous chemicals that have been found in the food chain, just to mention a few, are the ways that people's bodies are becoming toxic. And I suggest there are many people's bodies in the world today that have begun detoxing more than the people realize. And if people are not helping their bodies to detox in a healthy way, then people become sick. And now the situation is even more worsened by the current viral storm in your world. So what I, Mary, am saying to you, for many reasons, the elements of people's bodies are becoming toxic, with many poisons that have been building up over time. And so it is the elements in people's bodies that require healing and help. And yes, you can reach up to me, to my son. You can give us 10 minutes of your time, lay down and ask for healing, yet also recognize that perhaps a change in the kind of foods and drinks that you are digesting, all of this too may be required for permanent healing. So regarding the elements of people's bodies, where we see a buildup of toxins, of poisons, There is help. There's help right in your atmosphere beyond the pollution that is there. Oftentimes, the greatest help available is everywhere present, but not seen by the present physical sight of the people. Beyond everything that appears visible in your world is another world, sometimes thought of as an invisible world. But it is not really invisible. This world beyond the physical substance that you see requires greater sight in order to behold the limitless particles of life that are everywhere. And particles of life that can be drawn into your lives, into your physical bodies for greater health. Consider this as just one example. Throughout the universe are unseen trillions of rivers of universal life substance. This is the great mother element. Throughout the cosmos and your own atmosphere of your planet exist these unseen rivers of universal life substance. This substance is the mother of all elements. It is the Akasha element. So once you know of this, you could, in accepting this truth, you could sit yourself down and still yourself. Remind yourself inwardly of the sacredness and holiness of the breath, that every breath is sacred, every breath is holy. And as you sit quietly, then acknowledge these cosmic rivers of universal life substance that are everywhere. Then reach your arms upwards and call upon your higher selves, the I Am Presence, your guardian angel, to assist you as you call upon a 1,000-fold increase of the mother element from these rivers of universal life substance to enter into your body elements to help heal and restore the elements of your bodies. Do this once or twice a day for 2 to 3 minutes. And once you have a momentum of doing this, in time you will notice a wonderful difference in your body health. This is just one example, dear hearts. There are many other resources, infinite, throughout our universe. There's the quantum field, everywhere present, of infinite possibilities and infinite energy. You could sit quietly, identify a challenge in your life that you are welcoming a solution. Then say to yourself, I send my consciousness into the quantum field for assistance. to search infinite possibilities and the infinite energy that is available, to draw to me the solution. And I am grateful. And sit quietly for a couple of minutes. Offer your love and gratitude for the quantum field that is throughout our universe. What else, precious hearts? There is the music of the higher spheres. Everywhere throughout the cosmos. This music is played throughout systems of worlds, galaxies, suns, central suns, and great central suns. The harmonious music of the higher spheres offers balance and divine order and divine movement throughout all planetary systems of worlds. It is overseen by the angels of the music of the higher spheres. Again, you could sit yourself quietly for 2 minutes. Acknowledge the music of the higher spheres everywhere throughout the cosmos. Call upon the angels of the music of the higher spheres to draw that most harmonious and uplifting and life-changing music to surround you with that music of the higher spheres, and invite the music of the higher spheres to pass through the pores of your skin and into your physical body structure to help the strength, the health, the energy, youthfulness, and mobility of your physical garment. Bless the music of the higher spheres. Thank the angel that draws that around you. And just soak in the music of the higher spheres for a couple of minutes. Also, precious hearts, many of you are aware of the flower of life blueprint that is all throughout the cosmos of the universe. Yet how often do you use the flower of life blueprint, which is composed of electronic and magnetic lines of force? Electronic, which is the light rays, magnetic, which is the love rays. At any time, you could sit yourself quietly for a couple of minutes. Acknowledge the flower of life blueprint that is made up of electronic and magnetic lines of force. Call upon your guardian angel to draw the flower of life blueprint all around you to form an oval of the flower of life blueprint around you. Ask your guardian angel to begin spinning to your right this oval of the flower of life blueprint. This spinning oval of the flower of life will raise the frequency of your energy fields It will raise the frequency of the elements of your brain and physical body. It will raise the frequency of your mental body and emotional body. Remember, precious hearts, that the Flower of Life blueprint is made up of electronic rays of light and magnetic rays of love. At any moment, you could sit yourself down for a couple of minutes and ask your guardian angel to draw the Flower of Life blueprint around you, create an oval of it, and begin spinning that oval, that Flower of Life blueprint around you. And ask your God self and the angel to establish this oval of the Flower of Life blueprint around you, releasing its mighty God radiation in you, through you, and around you. So you see, in the time that I have been given to speak to you, these are just a few of the infinite resources that you discover in your awakening. Yet, not only to discover, precious hearts, but to set aside a few precious moments, acknowledge these infinite resources, and open to receive them as a great blessing unfolding in your life, in your health. To all of you who have chosen to do everything you can to spiritually grow and evolve, the world needs you. The world is entering a time of great awakening. Your light, your love, your compassion for all life, let it grow. Let it be magnificent. And while there are people of different beliefs, different religions, honor everyone. Honor everyone. And become a golden sun's presence of light and love, and bless this world while you are in it. In the name of my Son, Jesus Christ, and in the authority of my own ascended name as Mother Mary, I bless you, and I offer you the love of my own heart flame. Adonai, 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 precious hearts of love.